How do you plan financially for the unknown, for the emergencies that can pop up out of nowhere? I'm going to help you identify and plan for the 3 biggest emergencies, that and more, coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. So much of financial planning is about building wealth and managing risk. Building wealth and managing risk. If you are confident that something awful is going to happen, then you're not building wealth. You're not saving up for tomorrow. You're living for today. Why save up today and not spend it, not enjoy it because something bad's going to happen tomorrow, okay? If you're on that side of the spectrum, you're never going to build wealth. On the other side of the spectrum, if nothing bad will ever happen to you, then you're going to build wealth, but it's going to be susceptible to completely crashing down. If something awful happens or risk actually presents itself in your situation, then your entire financial house that you've built up could completely come crashing down. Financial planning is about building wealth and managing risk. There's lots of ways that you need to inject risk management into your financial plan, whether that's diversifying your investments, having prudent investment strategies, maybe multiple strategies to help you manage risk. Also, in your 5-factor retirement plan, doing stress tests and managing risk that way. But I want to focus on the 3 primary ways that you can plan ahead for the unknown and manage risk or prepare for emergencies in your financial life before they happen. As you build wealth, the 3 common ways you need to be managing risk. The first is the obvious one, and that is building up that cash reserve emergency fund. This is the most common, and it's also the most elusive, by the way. Many people don't have even the ability to miss or skip one paycheck, right? That would be awful, right? And a terrible experience, but so many people don't have the cash reserves even to have a minor interruption in income like that. You need a cash reserve, an emergency fund to handle an interruption to your income or that surprise expense or sudden bill or something like that. A cash flow emergency. Your emergency fund is a value, a dollar amount that you'll work with your certified financial planner on to figure out, well, what's the right number for your specific financial situation, both for like the tangible and the visible parts of your financial life, but also the emotional, the psychological side of your finances, and what's the right amount. Dave Ramsey, as you know, recommends 3 to 6 months of your lifestyle, and yeah, that's a good range for most people. But it's a big range, right? So how do you decide where you should fall, or whether you should be a little bit higher than that, a little bit lower than that, working with your certified financial planner? All right, so once you know the amount, where should you hold it? In the checking account, in the savings account, in a bank, in gold? No. It should be in a high interest money market account, because the rules with an emergency fund, it needs to be liquid. Emergencies can happen out of the blue. And if your money is tied up in something illiquid or somewhere you can't touch or whatever, then it's not accessible to you. So needs to be liquid. It needs to be free. Okay, you don't want to pay a holding cost because there's not a lot of emergencies that will happen. So you don't want to have this big drag on those dollars while they wait. And then lastly, it needs to be risk-free. It needs to be FDIC insured, because you might have a financial emergency right at the same time the economy is having a financial emergency as well, and you want to be able to rely on these dollars. After those 3 conditions are met, go out and get the best interest rate possible. So that high yield or high interest money market, typically where that emergency fund should be held. And then finally, how do you build that account up? If you're currently not operating with an emergency fund or an amount that you know is well below where you should be, how do you get there? Well, a few different ways. You got to work with your CFP. One is an 85% spending plan, where you structure your budget and your delayed spending such that 15% of your take-home pay is there for goal achievement, and you can have 15% allocated towards this emergency fund as sort of priority number one. That's not easy, but that's a structural way to do it. Another is pennies from heaven. So as you get a bonus out of the blue, or you get a tax refund out of the blue, or receive some other sort of dollars, you just make the decision up front. Oh gosh, we could do all sorts of things with those dollars, but no, we've decided any pennies from heaven, any dollars that we get that are above and beyond our monthly income, we're just going to move that right into the emergency fund until it's funded. So that emergency fund, that emergency cash reserve, is step one. Step two, or the second primary way that you need to manage risk and be able to be prepared for financial emergencies, is the financial emergencies, those risks that are at a higher magnitude than that emergency fund. And what I don't mean is, well, then continue to build up a bigger and bigger and bigger emergency fund. No. The risks that are so big, it's efficient for you to just transfer them. Transfer those risks until you become self-insured total in your entire financial house. What are those sorts of things? Well, there's 5 common financial risks that we all face. The risk of you passing away with some unfunded goals. You solve that with life insurance, okay? When those goals are funded, you've paid off the house, you're debt free, you've gotten the kids through college, you've saved up for retirement. Typically, most people say, well, that's no longer a risk. But while you've got unfunded goals, the risk of passing away early is a risk that you should transfer. It's very efficient to transfer. Life insurance. The risk of having a property damage or causing an accident. Home and auto insurance. The risk of a house fire, gosh, or an accident, right? Those are awful things, and the risk is going to stretch way beyond your emergency fund, so transferring that risk to an insurance company. The risk of having a health emergency, a surgery, an illness, something like that, health insurance. The risk of not being able to go to work because of a health issue, right? Health insurance will cover the cost of getting you restored to full health, but what if you can't go back to work? That's disability income insurance. And finally, the risk of you not being able to care for yourself. The risk of you needing assistance for the activities of daily living, bathing and getting dressed and those sorts of things. That's long-term care risk. We all live with those same risks, and therefore figuring out, well, what's the plan for you to transfer and manage those risks? That's the second big thing that you need to do for risk management and to help you avoid financial emergencies. And then the final risk that you need to have a plan for is the risk of you passing away suddenly or unexpectedly not being able to manage your own affairs. And this would be getting a will and estate plan in place, and that estate plan is both wills and instructions for, well, if I pass away, here's what I'd want to have happen to the assets, but also instructions or documents that give authority to individuals to act on your behalf if you are unable to do so yourself. Powers of attorney, so healthcare powers of attorney or powers of appointment, and durable or financial powers of attorney. This, oftentimes people think, well, I've got this concern, I've got this risk, I need a will. A will is not enough. You need a full estate plan. And then people might say, well, I've got an estate plan done, my will's done, my powers of attorney are set up, I'm good. No. You then need to do a beneficiary audit, an ownership audit, to ensure that all of your assets are owned correctly and set up correctly, so that if you pass away, it goes directly to the right person. But then same with beneficiaries, that your beneficiaries are up to date. And oftentimes people maybe set those up and then never revisit them to make sure that they're appropriate. But on an ongoing basis, you need to revisit that ownership and those beneficiaries as well as your estate plan to ensure it's all set up the way you'd want it to be. So those are the 3 big emergencies, financial emergencies, that you need to have a plan for. When you don't have a plan for those 3, it's not that it's just going to cause you, like, it's not just that you're vulnerable, okay? It's also causing you stress. When you don't have any of those three set up, yeah, you're financially vulnerable. That the wealth that you're building could actually come crashing down. But along the way, when you haven't had that event, you're stressed, you're concerned, you're worried. And so therefore, getting a plan in place for those 3 areas not only helps protect your financial house so that you can continue to build wealth and protect it, but it's going to give you the peace of mind that should something happen, you're all set, and your loved ones and family, your financial well-being, their financial well-being is taken care of. So work with your certified financial planner on that to manage those risks for your specific situation and many others. If you don't have a CFP on your team, contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or send us an email, info@korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go on and take your next wise step in your financial life.